Good morning, third graders. It is Friday. We're going to be Zooming together today, and Mr. Casal is going to be joining us at 10 o'clock. At the end, I'm going to meet with a small group to talk about the math that we've been doing over the last week, and I want to check in with some of you. So I'm going to be inviting some of you to come and stay with me. And of course, if you want to join, you're always welcome to if I haven't specifically called you. But I just want to make sure that you're understanding what we've been up to, and I want to help you with any of the assignments from the past week, and especially the one from today. So that's our Zoom at 10 o'clock today. All of our specials are right here. Don't forget Senor Johnson and Miss Cameron have it on Google Classroom. And make sure you're checking out Dr. Schultz's work. She was very excited about her plan for this week, so see if you've done that. Questions on the e-learning Padlet, continue doing what you've been doing. I have all but 2 kids' Pearson Realize Words Their Way activities for the week. So if you're one of those 2 kids, just go ahead and turn in all after you're done. You're going to continue with your 30 minutes of independent reading. So you're doing that however you'd like with your paper books from home or on Scholastic News and Epic and TrueFlix, whatever you'd like. Just make sure you're sustaining that independent reading time. And please try to include at least 10 minutes of poetry reading as part of your reading for today. We've been doing such a great job writing poetry. I want to keep immersing you in that poetry world through real authors. So go ahead to the Epic collection I created or any of the poetry websites that I continue to list on my blog. Today for poetry is going to be slightly different. I'm going to offer you 2 centers to do today. You can do one or you can do both. Just make sure that you do at least one. And the poetry centers are going to be explained in my lesson, but I'll quickly just tell you that one is an art center, and that is find a poem that you've been reading or that you read today that really inspires you, that makes you have a picture in your mind. And then I want you to create that picture. Draw, paint, use pipe cleaners or yarn, however you want to do it. Just create an image that's inspired by one of the favorite poems that you've read. And your second choice is for you to go out into nature, discover something, find a pine cone, find a rock, whatever it is. Go out into nature and find something that inspires you, and then write a poem about that. So whatever you choose to do, just make sure you take a picture of your art or a picture of the item that you were inspired by, and then read your poem out loud on Seesaw for everyone to hear. So that's your job today. Take part of the Art Center or the Discovery Center, and then show your work on Seesaw. If you want, I've included the Poetry Center slides, so what I use to make the lesson, on this link here so that you have all the instructions without having to replay the video. Today for math, you're going to be learning about compound units, and Miss DeGrazia does an excellent lesson because this can be kind of tricky. You're also going to be reading scales. Many of us have not seen these types of scales before, so go slowly, go carefully, replay the video if you need to, and then you're going to complete workbook page 17. And that's only 4 problems, but I'm happy to go through these problems with you after our Zoom in that small group. We can do that together. Okay, third graders? If you're feeling like you are done with the workbook pages from yesterday, which means that you have put word sentence, number sentence, and bar models. I need all 3 of those things, and I've made comments in your slides if you did not include all of those parts. But if you're done with those workbook pages from yesterday, as well as today's workbook pages, you can visit Thinking Blocks. Now, we do this in our math centers at school, but I want to show you again what Thinking Blocks is. And it's that bar modeling for like the digital way of doing it. So I'm going to click on it. It's going to make a little noise.
Let's get started.
And what you're going to do is you can practice any of the bar modeling with multiplication and division using these kind of models. And it's kind of like in a game form. So you've seen that before with me in class. So if you have a little extra time today, you can go back to Thinking Blocks and do some practice. Or you can do Daily Math Challenge number 11. It is a crossword puzzle today where you solve the math in numbers, but write out the answers in words. For science today, you're going to be examining your completed weather journal Monday through Friday and comparing it to the professional forecast that was made at the beginning of this week. So you're comparing what actually happened to the forecast. Listen to Miss Boyer's lesson and then copy and paste her stop and think questions into your e-learning slides and make sure you're answering them with details and complete sentences. You're going to complete your weather journal from Friday, and what you're going to do, and Miss Boyer will talk about this more, but I want you to take a picture of your weather journal, and that'll be like you handing it in, and I can give you credit for it. But when you hand in your weather journal on Seesaw, I want you to record yourself using the microphone about how the recorded temperatures and wind and all the weather elements compared to the forecast that was made ahead of time. And that forecast is right here for you. So when you're talking in Seesaw, you might be talking about, like, well, Monday, the high was 64 and the low was 43, and that's what they predicted. And actually, they were only 2 degrees off for the Monday. So they were pretty accurate. But on Friday, they got it wrong because it did do whatever you see. Make sure you're explaining yourself in Seesaw. So, by the end of today, let's go over what you need to do. And I'm hoping that this shortcut has been helpful to you. All of your words their way needs to be turned in. Complete at least one poetry center and record it on Seesaw. Make sure you're reading 30 minutes, including some poetry. Make sure yesterday's pages are complete with word sentence, number sentence, and bar model. Make sure page 17 is complete, and we can do that together at our Zoom. If you have time, practice bar modeling using Thinking Box. Fill in your weather journal. Oh, I have to make that Friday. Fill in your weather journal for Friday. Take a picture of your completed weather journal and record yourself comparing the forecast to the actual weather, and complete the 3 stop and think questions. So remember to try to structure your day in a way that makes sense for you. Maybe before we meet on our Zoom, you're making sure your words their way is complete, and maybe you are getting some poetry in and you try to do one of the centers. Maybe after our Zoom, you take a little break, get some reading done. After lunch, work on your math pages, do a specials activity, and then maybe do science to end your day in the afternoon. However you want to structure it, just make sure all of these things are getting done by the end of today. So, third graders, I will see you at 10 o'clock the Zoom. Mr. Costal is going to teach us something that's going to be really helpful for our work while we're outside of the classroom. And I will check in with you guys about math when he's all done. I will see you then. Good luck.